I'm going to fulfill a request today. Someone asked me to show how a man's shirt is assembled, how it's tailored. And I can do that, so that's what I'm going to show you today. But before I get into that part, I want to just take a moment to talk about design decisions, because there are a lot of little details where the design is done. I mean, a shirt is a shirt. It's basic shirt, right? It's going to have an opening where you can get into the shirt. It's going to have an opening for the head to pop out. It's going to have 2 sleeves, unless you're making a shirt for someone with special needs. 1 sleeve, 3 sleeves, whatever. Little details like pockets, for example. How many pockets? A really dressy shirt, like for a tuxedo, probably has no pocket at all. 1 pocket is fine for most shirts. I could wear a necktie with this, right? This would look good with a tie, this shirt. 2 pockets is more casual. Pockets with flaps, that's even more casual. How the pockets are shaped. For example, this one has rounded corners. You could do a square corner. You could do a mitered corner where you kind of cut the corner off. You could do a pointed bottom, a chevron bottom to the pocket. Cuffs. The cuffs, also decisions. This cuff here has rounded corners. You could do a mitered corner. You could do a square corner. The placket. This is the sleeve placket right here. This one's rather long. It's typical for a long placket to have a button in the middle of it. A shorter placket would be without a button. Collar, right? I like a button-down collar. This shirt, if I can show you, has these plastic stays in there. It's a plastic tab that fits inside of a channel in the collar, and that helps to maintain the shape of the collar. The back. A lot of shirts have the pleats in the center back. You've seen them, men's shirts, and they have a loop of fabric in the center. That's called a locker loop, and it was used years ago. Men would go to the gym, they'd change their clothes in their locker room. They could hang their shirt up on a hook in their locker. That's where that locker loop came from. This shirt has its pleats over here on the side. I think this is a little dressier, right? This idea right here. So those are some of the design details that you can decide upon before you even cut the shirt. You can figure out how you want the shirt to look, how one shirt varies from another. I mean, it's going to look the same because it's a shirt, but little details change the look of the shirt. So the next thing I'm going to do is lay out some fabric and start laying out my pattern and starting to do some cutting. All right, this is my pattern here. It's made with ripstop nylon. I've used it many times. That's why it's made out of ripstop nylon. I've probably made at least 100 shirts with this pattern. This is the back. And I made a full back if in case I need to cut it from a full piece of fabric, but I'm going to actually place this on a fold. I'm using 100% cotton, and I did pre-shrink this. Throw it in a washer, then a hot dryer. I used a little bit of laundry detergent because cotton will shrink. On this fabric here, I lost almost 1 inch per yard. What can I fit in here? Could put the yoke in there. The yoke is the shoulder piece that goes over the shoulders. I know I can fit my collar band in there, and that looks like it'll fit just fine. Pin that in place. Now I got this little extra space right here, and this would be a good place to do this is the placket. It's there. This would be a good place to do this piece here. I'm cutting this piece. And how long is this one? This one's really, no, it's not overly long. I'm going to cut this a little longer. I'm not going to pin any more pieces just yet because I need to do the front and the back. But when I do that, I open the fabric out and I do each piece separately. Okay, I'm going to cut the yoke out first. You can probably see I have these little red triangles here. In most cases, those are alignment marks, so I know this is the center. Same thing, I have a point here, an alignment point. So there's the yoke. Set this aside. All right, collar band is cut. Okay, I just need to cut the back, and then I have a double wide point here just to remind me that this is the back opening for the sleeve. That's important when it comes to putting the sleeve on, so I don't put the sleeve on the wrong way. The front placket is the piece on the front where the buttonholes go. I only need one of those, so again, that's why I open the fabric all the way out. All right, and again, I only need one left front piece, so single layer of fabric. Okay, next to do the front, this is the left front, and that's the front cut. Now I'm going to do the right front next. The right front. So there's my collar. All right, there's the sleeve cut. And the last step are the cuffs. That's it. The shirt is cut, and that is the end of day one. This is my machine. It's an old industrial. I looked up the serial number, which is right there. And it was built in 1934. So it's quite an old machine. It's loud, so I'm not going to show you a lot of the stitching work here. You can hear what it's going to sound like because I have to wind a bobbin. How I got this machine, I worked for it. I was working for a place and they needed someone to work there during the summer. I knew they had this machine upstairs in storage, but they said, we can't afford to pay you during the summer. If you don't mind, work during the summer and we'll pay you during the fall. And I said, I tell you what, you have this old machine upstairs. You don't do anything with it. It's just been sitting under a tarpaulin for years. You give me that machine and I'll work for you for the summer. That's how I got my machine. All right. Here's the noise. The motor runs constantly and there's a clutch under the table. The foot pedal engages the clutch. This is the bobbin winder here. You can wind a bobbin while you're assembling something. I have two spools of thread because one is not enough for a shirt. But if I fill this up a lot, it'll usually get me through an entire shirt.